Hello. Today, for this episode, we're going to be talking about Secret of Mana, which was nominated by Gaelic Rocks on Twitter. It was developed by Square, published by Square for the Super Nintendo. Earliest release date and territory appears to be August 6, 1993 in Japan. All right, with me to discuss this game are...
I'm Kyle.
I'm Sotenga.
And I'm the Great Klaid.
You're the okay Klaid.
How?
Rip!
I'm just...
Iceberg!
No, Klaid is a great friend.
Smash.
And I'm the sad Klaid.
Oh, I feel bad now.
You should.
Now we all feel bad. Hey, let's talk about Secret of Mana. So, yeah, this is the second game, I guess, in the Seiken Densetsu series.
That is correct.
The sequel to Final Fantasy Adventure on the Game Boy, which had the Final Fantasy name tacked on for recognition's sake, but this one decided to stand out on its own.
I mean, I just want to put this out there. That game looked a lot more like a Final Fantasy game than it looked like anything else. I mean, the characters were very much like the little chibi 8-bit sprites. Yeah.
Fair point.
But yeah, so it's an action RPG. I mean, if you don't know what this game is, hey, welcome to the show.
Well, it's on the Super Nintendo Classic, so
yeah, well,
the new generation might recognize what it is.
It's one of the more enduringly popular games for the Super Nintendo. I think it's definitely one of the most famous action RPGs, at least the retro ones.
It also we did its sequel already. Yeah, we did. That's how we work.
Oh, because we're good at this. Scientific.
Well, it's whatever gets nominated first. So,
yeah,
we're just. So yeah, I guess you can go back and listen to whatever episode that was where we talked about Seiken Densetsu 3 and here, but I mean, so yeah, it's an action RPG. The original Secret of Mana, or not the original, but whatever it is, the second game in the Seiken Densetsu series.
Secret of Mana, the game we're talking about.
Okay. You can have more than one player, right?
Correct.
Yeah, at least three simultaneous. Yeah.
We're one of those rich kids that had the multi-tap.
Yeah, you had to get the multi-tap from. It's not Micro Machines. What game was it? Micro Machines?
Was it
Nintendo sold an official multi-tap.
Oh no, yeah, there was a multi-tap, and it let you have. It
just didn't come packed with any games, I don't think.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah. So if you had a multi-tap, you could play 3 players, which is really cool. I think that's awesome. But you could play 2-player without it, right? This isn't some bizarre thing where you had to have a multi-tap because you could have.
You could certainly play 2 players just out of the box.
That's how I played through the game. I think the first time with my buddy. But we also played through Final Fantasy 6 with 2 players, which is not really the way.
Yeah. 5, 6, Earthbound.
Or rather, I guess it was Final Fantasy 3.
Super
but yeah,
Mario RPG.
A Chrono Trigger. I think you could do it too, right?
Nope.
No,
can't do it in Chrono Trigger.
Oh, I don't know why I remember that, but I guess it's a made-up memory.
Funny all the other SNES RPGs except for Chrono Trigger. I think Sotenga said you could even do it in Mario.
No, that's just a guess. I mean, it seems a little silly playing a not-action RPG with more than one player.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the real-time battle system in those Final Fantasy games, it kind of makes sense.
The Charlie's Angels movie lied to us on that premise, because they're playing Final Fantasy VIII with 2 controllers. But we're getting way off topic.
I think by the time they got to the PlayStation era, they realized that JRPG fans usually weren't the friend-having types.
But
so
you can do it in Final Fantasy IX. Fun fact. That also has 2-player.
Oh.
Really?
Me and my buddy played through the whole game 2-player.
Your buddy from Canada? No, just kidding.
Is this the same buddy? You both got the same
We have the
dude.
same buddy, yeah.
Me and Xerxes, 10 years apart, have the same buddy.
It was really weird when he was going to your house because he was way older than you. It's hey,
sorry,
12-year-old Klaid, let's play a game.
Sorry, Xerxes, I gotta go 600 miles.
Yeah, so this game's really good. It's one of the classics. What should we say about it? What differentiates it from Seiken Densetsu 3?
Can I wait? The Seiken Densetsu Secret of Mana 2, does that have the little charge up bar thing?
Yeah,
I think they both do.
This one, yeah, you can swing your sword or you can charge up for a leaping attack.
Okay, so it's not like in Secret... Because this is my least favorite thing about Secret of Mana still to this day, where you have to wait a second for your little power meter to charge up, or you just do no damage.
I will say that is probably the steepest entry point in the game for its mechanics, because it sort of betrays the action RPG flow and makes it tilt a little more onto the heavy RPG side, because it's not that different from the active time battle system in Final Fantasy around this time. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's similar enough. Yeah.
What I think's cool about this one, though, is I swear this one, Secret of Mana, compared to Secret of Mana 2, which is not Secret of Mana 2, it's Seiken Densetsu 3. What I think is cool about this one is I'm convinced that they sort of built, especially the bosses, they're a little bit more active about needing to dodge and that kind of thing. Like, a lot of the enemies are more, like, in little arenas, and they run around and they chase you and try and hit you and that sort of thing. Whereas in the sequel, they're these huge, absolutely amazing, gorgeous pixel artworks, but they just kind of use spells and slap at you.
Yeah, right. You can't avoid magic. That's another more RPG-y thing.
Well, there's, I mean, that's kind of the trap a lot of action RPGs fall into, where, especially like the top-down ones, where like the bosses are just like big giant thing, and then it has like, throws like, concentric arcs of fireballs, and then it throws another magic fireball type thing, and then it does and you just end up whacking it in its head, over and over and over, and then like dodge and then go back and head whack again. Yeah. And it's not that great. Like, I think that this game, especially I keep wanting to say the original Secret of Mana, but technically it's not. But you guys know what I mean.
It is no, because it is the original Secret of Mana, because there is no Secret of Mana 0, because we called that Final Fantasy.
I guarantee you somebody's already made like a ROM hack where they're like, no, the Secret of Mana 0.
The nomenclature of the series bites. Let's just get that out of the way.
So to help Xerxes, the original game got remade as Adventure of Mana or something. Sword of Mana.
Yeah, I played that one too. It's not bad. That's one of the Brownie Brown joints, I believe, right?
Correct.
Yeah, good old Brownie Brown.
Why is that title cracking me up?
They're the guys who did Mother 3, aren't they? Or did a lot of work on that?
I think so, yes.
So we shouldn't laugh at them, but...
No. Mother 3 was awesome.
Brownie Brown's competent. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, I don't know. They just sounds like a bad ripoff of Charlie Brown, right? It sounds like the kid that Charlie Brown would have picked on.
It sounds like the Taiwanese ROM hack NES card.
Like, Charlie Brown gets picked on by everybody. He's like, it's the football ripped away from him. He's like, everybody's punking on Charlie Brown. Then Charlie Brown goes home and he's like, oh, wait, Brownie Brown's home. time to take this fool out.
It's the kid they keep in the...
I'm going to really give it to Brownie Brown. He's going to get the brunt of all my bald kindergartner aggression.
So, Secret of Mana.
Yeah, let's... The game is fairly, I guess, like, it's a pretty normal, like, story when it starts off to an extent. Your character rips out a magic sword. In this case, instead of you being treated like a hero, everyone is like, what have you done, you fool? You've doomed us all, which is really cool. Yeah. I like that.
You get banished from the very first town, and you can never go back to it. Not even when the world is about to blow up. You are banned. But, it's a pretty straightforward...
If you go back, the freaking nerdy guy with square glasses will just frown at you, right? Like... It's so... Yeah, like...
more or less.
So, I haven't played this game for a while, but I'm willing to guess its plot is about some kind of ancient sealed-away magic goddess, possibly involving a tree. And
there is actually a tree. You're right.
Hey, look, yeah, okay.
And seeds.
Yeah, all right.
I forget if there's a goddess, but there is a magic fortress. So
no, this one's got the magic emperor.
There's like a bit of a Tower of Babel or whatever in there. The humans build a massive mana fortress, and God or something, who's a complete dick, is like, "Oh, I'm not having any of that," and like blows up all the humans. That's the...
So basically, it's as JRPG plot as a JRPG plot can get.
This was 93 though, so I mean, it was only kind of cliched.
Oh, it was super cliche at the time. I remember when it was new, and I was a part of that market, and like I loved JRPGs, and I had played a lot of them at this time, and I was like, okay, I've seen this before. Like, it was already old hat by then.
Mystic Quest.
I mean, it's good for what it is, don't get me wrong. I was just always amused that one of the characters was named Diluck, and you just remove 2 letters, and that's Duck. And I keep thinking he's like, wank, wank, everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I read his name is Duck, that's for sure.
Is this the one where you fight Santa Claus?
Yes, he transforms into a frost gigas. You gotta snap him out of it, basically.
Yeah, that's a great boss fight. So it's really hard to kind of talk about this one, because I feel like if you've talked about Seiken Densetsu 3, it's like, it is very similar, it's just better. Like, what makes it better? How about that?
That's on you guys.
Wait,
Well,
you mean Seiken Densetsu 3 is better or Secret Mana is better?
No, Secret of Mana, I think, is better, right?
I'm on the Seiken Densetsu 3 train, I'm afraid. So that's on you guys.
A lot of people are sort of up and down depending on what you like in your games. I think the main thing that you got to go with is simply that this one does have 3-player. They ditched that for Seiken Densetsu 3. Ironically, for Seiken Densetsu 3, it does not have 3-player. It doesn't have any player, does it? I think.
Yeah, you just put the controller down, the game plays itself.
That's basically how it goes.
Of course, Seiken Densetsu 3 did have replayability with the 6 heroes and the different pathways that they take. Hawkeye's Wrench is the best, but I think in this one the movement flows a little better, and it is I think Seiken Densetsu 3 got pretty damn difficult. This one, for the most part, I think is manageable, except for that tiger boss early on. That's a really early wake-up call fight.
Oh, yeah.
But I recall the level design being a little bit confounding at times.
There's a lot of boring grinding that happens too. Like grinding in action RPGs is for some reason excruciating to me in a way that it isn't in regular JRPG. Like Dragon Quest style.
You can't just hold down the turbo button. You actually have to do shit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because you don't have the bouncing back and forth between screens. By the way, I did a quick double check. Secret of Mana, Seiken Densetsu, the sequel. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm English. That has 2 players. You can do that.
Okay, so it does have 2, but it loses the
if
third.
If it doesn't have third, yep. I'm pretty sure I did that 2-player too.
I don't know. I mean, we never got to play it on a console here, so
I don't think Legend of Mana has 2-player though. Which would be the next game on the PlayStation for our listeners.
I believe no one likes any of the other games, right? That's a big thing.
Well, Legend of Mana has its fans.
Yes.
Who's the guy who's responsible for this baffling series of games? What's his name? He's the guy. He's the Final Fantasy II guy, like the classic Famicom Final Fantasy II.
Akitoshi Kawazu directed?
Yeah.
That was him? Wait, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right.
No. It's I'm looking it up here. It's Koichi Ishii.
Okay, gotcha. What else has he done?
He's helped a lot with Saga. He may have done Final. Yeah, he was the original director of 11.
11.
That's the MMO.
Huh. Yep. Well,
Secret of Mana 2 makes a lot more sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the different character classes does sort of to it. But I forgot.
Oh, I know what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the Saga games.
That's Kawazu's baby. I know Kurt hates him infinitely.
Really? Kurt hates Saga?
Oh, yes.
Man.
But that's something we'll discuss for another time. You can attack him about it later.
That's on the repertoire, so be excited for that, listeners.
So, as I understand it, this one, Secret of Mana, was this originally was like kind of prototyped or beginning as a Nintendo PlayStation game? Was that this one? That they were piecing it together?
This was going to be a CD game. So I guess we can talk about that really quick. This game is notoriously, unfinished. There's a lot of missing, because the sword goes up to 7 levels, right? Where everything else in the game goes up to 8.
Well, I thought that was because for storyline reasons, because it becomes the Mana sword.
They've found items that are supposed to go up to 8 and 9 or whatever for everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, so it makes sense though. It might have been finished, but they would have had to cut it down because it would fit more on a CD than you could on a cartridge.
Yeah, I guess we could argue finished, but yeah, there's a lot of cut content like text and I think areas. I have to double check this one too, but I think they have prototype map or whatever, and they're missing a big island that's used to be on that map or something like that.
Yeah, apparently it used to be that there were like more than one way to go through the game, I think. And, multiple endings and stuff that they had to take out.
Because you can meet the girl 2 ways in this one, right? I think I've read that before. I've only pulled it off the one way, because you can skip meeting her the first time and then run into her later on in the game.
Yeah. I don't know whether this is true, but I've heard that kind of the difficulty they had, cutting this down. And, I think it was, the compromises they had to make is one of the main reasons I've heard, legend has it, that they switched to CD-based consoles. But really, I think realistically, they would have done that no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so we have to explain, what the Nintendo PlayStation was. Right? Because I don't think we explained that. We're just talking about it as if everybody knows, but I don't think everybody knows.
Nintendo PlayStation, it's old hat. Everyone knows that.
Everybody knows about
that. Coming soon for the Ultra 64.
So I'll step up here. Nobody really knows, but no, I'm just, it's like what it is so, Nintendo always planned on having a CD based add-on, for the Super Nintendo, for the Super Famicom, I guess, rather. And they partnered up, they signed a deal with Sony, and that's, what they were going to do. So they had this whole thing set up, and there are prototypes of this machine out there, by the way. Like, people have just found them like a few years ago. And they've been confirmed to be real, and you can actually get them to boot and not much else, but they exist and you can turn them on. So that, by the way, is why the Sony PlayStation has the same controller layout as the Super Nintendo, plus, a couple extra buttons, but that's why.
It's also why the Philips CDI came about.
Okay, so
exactly.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Sorry, you sound like you were done.
Oh, no, I have much, much more boring stuff to say. So, yeah, it's kind of like a lot of things in Japan. I think it was really sort of a handshake gentleman's agreement between Nintendo and Sony. The thing is like Sony is like especially at the time, like now they're kind of like not exactly the same level of like, corporate power as they once had. At the time, they were still like one of the major Japanese brands of anything. And for them to get involved is a big deal. Like, as you guys may know, they were one of the pioneers, the people behind, along with, I think, Philips. They were pioneers like the CD format, like the music CD format. They were, co-developed that, I think, with Philips or somebody. I may be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure they were. So they're like a major, and they were, basically co-equal with Nintendo. And Nintendo at the time was run by like old man Nintendo, and that's not his real name, but
Howard Lincoln, Mauchi.
Yeah. So he's like a very old school guy and very kind of ruthless, cutthroat. And he decided that there was way too much parity between Nintendo and Sony. It seems like he didn't really want to be co-equal partners with anybody. He wanted Nintendo to be the top dog in the relationship. So he actually broke the deal with Sony without telling them and signed the deal with Philips, not to do a CD console, but rather to have the CD, like the CD game rights or something to Nintendo properties. And it was supposed to be a partnership between them. It never went anywhere, but the main purpose of it was to screw over Sony. And they actually announced this. I believe the first announcement was at like a CES or something. Consumer Electronics Show. I think it was still held in Vegas back then. I think it still is now. But they don't do video game stuff anymore, but they used to. And it was like actually announced there. And there were people from Sony at the trade show who found out about this at that trade show when Nintendo announced that they were partnering with Philips. And you could actually find like an interesting take on the story in the book Console Wars. Has a lot about this. But anyway, so you can imagine how a lot of people like Square felt, because they were having, Square's thought, oh, we make RPGs, we make these big expansive games with stories, like we're going to do something amazing on this CD-based console. We've got a licensing, deal with Nintendo. And then they axe the CD console. It's like, what do we do now?
It's definitely what could have been. I think, personally, just looking from a base standpoint, it was a really poor mistake, and it granted Nintendo an even huger rival than Sony, who walloped them over the N64, arguably. And then,
you said Sony, not Sega.
Oh, wait.
He was thinking Sega.
Even bigger than Sega, arguably.
I was thinking Sega.
Yeah, arguably, they sunk Nintendo, so I'd say yes. Definitely.
They killed Sega, first of all. They Sega, chopped it into pieces, and then ate it for breakfast.
They killed Sega by being like, we're going to release the console, it'll be cheaper. And that's it, Sega died. Like, what kind of...
Well, I mean, Sega, okay, we're not going to relitigate this, but... Basically, like what Nintendo ended up doing was creating like a powerful, and you've made a powerful enemy today, that kind of thing. But Sony was able to just take all that R&D and be like, oh, we're Sony, like we've got money, like
we make
we'll
CD
wait like
things.
a few years and we'll just put this out on our own, like we own it, and that's what they did. And so anyway, but
then Squaresoft moved to Sony systems as well. They really did that.
Yeah, of course. Well, and I think a large part of that was not really this thing about like specifically Secret of Mana or even the Nintendo like giving everybody the old okie doke with the CD console. I think it really was about like the kind of games that they.
Well, no, I mean like what happened. I don't know if we talked about in Chrono Trigger, but they, with Chrono Trigger they were getting more frustrated. But they were like, hey, hey Nintendo, we need CDs because then we can make bigger games. And Nintendo were like, no,
Here's the CDI. Go for it.
So they were just like, all right, well, bye then. I guess we'll make Secret of Mana on the PlayStation. Secret of Mana, the game that we probably will have to talk a tiny bit more about.
So, is this Woozley's first Square project?
Woolsey? Oh, the translator?
Ted Woolsey, yes.
I can't remember if it's Woozley or Woolsey.
Woolsey.
I always go back and forth. I always think.
Yeah, but it's Woolsey. I don't know if it's his first, but it's his first like major. It's one of the first games I think that his mark is really felt in for sure. It's the translation's good. Like that was, that's another thing you have to cut down too. Like the Japanese version, you could fit a lot more information into those characters. So anytime you translate something into English, you've got a lot less space to work with, and even more dialogue gets cut. So what you're getting in the Secret of Mana, like the English version, is like really, who knows what percentage that is of the intended game, but. Yeah,
it's a weird script. This is like one of the first games I really emulated, and it was a weird one to come to like after growing up with Final Fantasy 6, 7, because it's a game that feels really pared down. Sort of my thoughts on it, but
it's like there's something about it that I find.
Oh, it's fun as hell.
Yeah.
Well, I think you need to keep in mind, as far as I know, this is Square's alleges this. That they did not bring Secret of Mana 2, Seiken Densetsu 3, into English because the cart that they would have had to use would have to have been too large because the English script would not fit. That is something that they have claimed.
I own a cart of Secret of Mana 3 in English. I don't know how that works necessarily, but...
somebody took the ROM hack and flashed it to a cart.
Yes. I don't know, like I'm saying, I don't know if that confirms how possible.
Somebody sold it to you.
Actually, I just have a guy who can flash chips for me, so...
So you know exactly how you came about it.
Well, okay. No, I'm saying I don't know how the... No, I'm not saying I didn't know how I came up with the cart. I don't know...
how it fits on that. Well,
I'm not sure if... I'm saying if I don't know if that confirms if that's, malarkey or not.
I'm guessing that somebody can look this up while I'm talking about something else maybe, but I'm guessing that the fan translation must have cut stuff out if that would have been the case. And if they didn't have to cut anything.
That, it doesn't have to be the standard size cart at the time. It could have been a larger cart.
Oh, somebody could, yeah. Well, I don't know.
I don't know what,
I just know a guy.
Cart in front of me.
Whatever the case, we got Secret of Evermore as a consolation prize.
Hey, that's an interesting game. I mean,
I like it.
The only other thing I know about this game is it's the first Mana game that has like the ring selection system, right?
Yeah,
the Game Boy one didn't have
Game Boy
that.
couldn't have it. There's no way it would fit that.
Yep.
So that's a really great UI thing. Yeah. I guess that's not really what people want to hear us talk about, but it's a great...
This game's streamlining is great. It's like really nice. Everything kind of just fits together really well, and they didn't change much of it in the sequel because it works really well in this one.
And for as much as it was like maybe pared down and simplified, like it still plays really smoothly. This is I believe a Nasir Gebelli joint.
Yeah, it is. It's the last game that he ever worked on, basically.
Damn. That's some
he's like a wonderkind software developer that had been with Square at that point for a very long time by Japanese developer standards, by which I mean
considering he didn't speak
years.
Japanese, yeah.
Yeah. So, but he was just amazing. Like, where was he from? Was he from Saudi Arabia? Maybe.
I believe he's from Iran.
Yeah. So So you're right. And he just kind of like went to Japan. He's like, I want to make games, but he was such a good programmer. Like he coded the original Final Fantasy, I think.
Oh yeah. He just usually goes in as a Nasir or whatever, right?
Nasir. Yeah. You'll see by Nasir NASIR. You'll see that. Yeah.
It's a shame he departed eventually. Goodbye, Nasir Gebelli. Hello, Tetsuya Nomura.
Well, I mean, with this one, no, he was he's one of those assembly geniuses. There's a story about him bug fixing a game. I think it might be one of the Final Fantasies. While he was out of Japan due to a visa issue, so he was not in Japan, and he was telling the team over the phone how to fix his assembly code. I think like just saying it over the phone, like, yeah, it's this part, this line, you change that. Like, this is the degree of like craziness that this guy, who could basically remember his entire code in his head to just like program over the phone. It's crazy. He's
right now he's probably like working on Skynet or something. So we gotta rank this one. It's really hard to describe the game because I feel like it's just one of those games you just gotta play. It's like really high on the list of Super Nintendo games you should play. It's perhaps even higher on the list of Super Nintendo action RPGs, for sure.
I do think, I don't know if I managed to throw this out when we talked about Seiken Densetsu 3, but these feel very much like proto-MMOs to me in a lot of ways. Just how you basically have a streamlined interface, it's an RPG, and the main thing is to go through dungeons and level up, while a story is there, and it just kicks you along. And, I think that's why it works, because,
Yeah, simplicity is perhaps, I want to say, its most defining feature. In a way, not unlike Dragon Quest, but maybe it's a off-base comparison, I don't know. But, that's why we can't say too much about it, because it does work on a very simple structure. I admit maybe it gets a little drawn out to play in long periods, but, pick it up, kill some monsters, push forth a bit, walk away, and then keep doing that, and, it's a good flow.
Unlike, I think, any of the other Mana games, although you could have more than one player in some of them, as we discussed, this one really benefits from having at least one other person to play with you. It is a lot of fun to do it that way, and I've never really gone back to it because I don't think it would be as fun to do by myself. I just don't.
I don't think it's aged, incredibly well, because it is a little dry in places, and the dungeons are a little long.
And we can't remember the story to save our lives, which tells you something about the story.
It sounds like Klaid wants to say something.
Oh, no. Well, I can quick explain the story, like I said.
No, I don't explain the story.
No, we don't. If you're actually interested, it's which magic goddess that planted the goddess mana tree millennia ago, and then you have to unlock the magic thing, and you're bringing magic back into the world. But oh no, maybe the creator god is not so good after all.
I won't let you sell it too short, because this one actually,
it's literally everything.
Actually,
the bad guy is
a little bit of melancholy in the plot, more than you would expect. Towards the end,
it is actually kind of sad. I will give it bonus points.
Yeah, so it's kind of oh wait, what? Huh? Oh no, oh that's bad. And then the game ends. It's oh wow, all right, well,
bittersweet, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of cool. That's nice that it's not just a flowery everything is great, but. The sequel is like that, as well. It opens with, everything's gonna die, and it's oh, crap, this isn't good.
No matter what you do.
Yeah,
dies.
I think the sequel ends more positively, for the most part.
Comparatively, but it does open at a down note.
I mean, that's something, I think it gets, I forgot that because, nothing tops Final Fantasy VI for, in terms of, dirge, depression and sadness.
I mean, Final Fantasy VI, it's that's the setup in a way. It's we're gonna really grind you up here. This is where we're going.
Yeah, it gets nuts. Halfway through the game, when most players at the time thought the game was over, and then we destroyed the world, and then now you get to walk around in the world that was destroyed because you failed. And the music is just horrible organ grinding music is yep. And then every Sid dies, you get to watch Sid die.
Now you can make him live.
You can save.
30-year-old spoilers or something here. But,
whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, the thing is, that sort of, extreme sadness wouldn't work for this, because I do think it also has this, it's a beat-em-up, almost. That's kind of the way this game works. It's a beat-em-up with levels.
Much more so than Zelda. I don't know why that is. I guess it's because the battles are kind of, separated from each other.
Yeah, and you feel you're just getting into punch-ups and stuff, screen by screen.
Yeah, and there's this poof, 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 poof. Yeah, and you knock the enemies back when you hit them, I think, and
yeah, and your teammates who the AI is not great, but it's serviceable, will beat things up with you. It works.
Oh, is this the one where your party members can get stuck?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
that is a minus point I'm going to levy. Some areas I remember being particularly maze-like, a little frustrating for the AI to get around.
Yeah, you sometimes have to really babysit him to get him to go places. But.
Yeah, it's almost got the Baldur's Gate problem to it. You must gather your party members to continue.
But of course, if you're playing with 2 or 3 players, it's a lot easier because they're less likely to get stuck.
See, I knew there was a reason Xerxes was right. You don't play this game on your own.
Anyway, I guess we do have to put it somewhere.
Yeah, we should rank this.
Yeah, so, all right, let's look around the middle. Let's start there.
Oh.
I know you like to start in the middle, but it is...
Yeah, because you guys always start at the very top, and you're oh, Crash Team Racing, the third best game of all time.
Your prejudice against Crash is well known, Xerxes. We'll keep it in mind.
Yeah, come on.
Let's keep on a focus for a change this episode.
So, okay, I think it's... I'm looking at, Kirby's Dream Land 3 is at number 207 right now, as of this recording. And we can put it above that, I think.
So... We have the sequel at 57. How do we feel about this compared to the
so
let's start there.
This is what I'm talking about. That's insane. That is way too high. but it's scientifically accurate, so that's where it belongs. Should we just say I don't think it's better than 57. So I guess Seiken Densetsu 3 is the better game, even though.
I mean, I'll agree with that all day long.
Some people do think that, and I have a hard time. It's what you feel like on the day. It's a very tricky one with that, I think.
So I'm going up the list from where I was. I'm looking at Banjo-Kazooie. It's definitely better than that. Bangai-O UN Squadron.
It's better than UN.
Oh, good old UN Squadron.
Yeah. It's hard. It's frustrating for me because I think people should play this game if they haven't played it. I think people will really like it, especially if you play it with somebody.
It's actually one that's not replicated very much. There's a specific flavor to this particular game.
Was this one re-released on the DS maybe? Or
no?
That was just Children of Mana. It's not very good. I own it.
Okay.
Yeah, this series really went to crap.
Don't play the remake either, for the love of all that is holy in this world. Do not
the remake of Final Fantasy Adventure.
Secret of Mana.
Sword of Mana is okay.
Wait, this got remade? What?
It got remade. It's on Steam. It's not good. Don't.
That's it. It's on Steam.
Oh, I totally forgot that was a thing. There's probably a reason.
It's a real garbage. No.
It's like so bad that they actually addressed it by having like the director or producer post like a comment on Steam like, we are doing our best to fix this. Please do not freak out. We are trying very hard to fix this game. Please. That's the thing.
To our game.
God damn.
So Oath and Felghana is 137. How do we feel about this compared to Oath and Felghana?
Oh, I think it's got to go below Oath and Felghana. I don't know how
I would place it lower. Yeah.
All right. See, now we're talking.
Yeah, I mean, but any Ys game is a good comparison point because it's very much like you can see its beat 'em up kind of flavor compared to Ys. You know what I mean? I'm glad somebody mentioned that because I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. It is a action RPG beat 'em up hybrid. That is an excellent point, and that's what makes the Mana series what it is.
Yeah, when it works, it works.
And the Game Boy game did not really have that effect. That was very much like a Zelda clone. But once this is in it, and Legend of Mana is the PlayStation one, right?
Correct.
And that one has its detractors and problems and all kinds of issues with it, but it is very much like that thing. Like it is very much a beat 'em up flavored action RPG, and that's a cool
battle
thing.
Screen.
Yeah.
Legend of Mana was weird. We got to talk about that one someday.
Yeah. Someday.
Okay. Well.
Anyway,
it's Oath of Felghana. Do you think that this one is lesser to say? Well. I don't I think no one will say I like Crusader of Senti, but I'm pretty sure most people would put this above Crusader of Senti.
Yeah, I'll put it below Shenmue because it's not that ambitious. How about that?
Hey, I guess we found.
You don't think it's ambitious? This one's pretty.
I think it was ambitious when it was a CD game. Yeah, I'm sure it was amazing.
I don't know, it's struggling. Because don't forget, I don't want to sell it too short. That merging those three things, the RPG elements, the sort of beat 'em up, actiony elements, and whatever multiplayer, I guess. That's really tricky. This hybrid of a genre was something that was hard to land.
All right. Shenmue had sailors.
No, not
okay.
This.
Well, okay, but this is a game where you can fight Santa Claus, and you fight Santa Claus because he turned evil, and he turned evil because kids stopped believing in him, and he was angry. That is really great. So maybe we need to move it up a little bit higher.
The game should have ended at that point.
What if the main bad guy of the game was Santa?
Angry Santa.
Kids
don't believe in me anymore, and I'm mad as hell.
Santa. Boom. Do it.
Yeah. All right. So
We need more Christmas games.
What about putting it right above?
Hold on. Because you have your Christmas themes, so there's your blue stinger right there. Actually.
All right. Now look.
Don't invoke dogs.
Now,
he is off limits.
Angry Wizard Santa would definitely hang out with Dog's Bower, but I feel like Dog's Bower would be drawing stuff on his forehead after he passed out.
Are you
after two Dog's Bower worthy bong rips, this Santa would be out cold. So I would how about we put it right below? As much as I hate to say this, I'll say below Star Fox.
Yeah,
Star Fox is also kind of a little bit more of a. I'd much rather play Secret of Mana than the Star Fox any day of the week.
Well, if you want to go with ambition, obviously Star Fox is insanely ambitious because
it is it's like a coding master, like a program, it's by the Argonaut people.
Yeah, they spent joint. 3 or 4 years learning how to make 3D, made their own custom 3D chip, and then put it on the SNES. That's crazy.
So I think that's where it goes. Anybody disagree? Does more than one person disagree?
Well, I mean, I really like Tyrion 2000, but I'm not going to fight over Tyrion 2000 today, so...
I
Another
think it's
day.
really funny to put it above BioShock because that's just a punchy RPG game. That's
a wrenchy RPG.
yeah, wrenchy. It has multiplayer, right? But it's terrible. So let's put
No, that was BioShock 2 that had the multiplayer.
only BioShock 2. Maybe it'll go higher.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, fine. Below Star Fox?
Yeah.
Below Star Fox, above BioShock, that makes Secret of Mana the new 139.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next episode. That's all for this episode. Special thanks goes out to our lovely co-hosts and compatriots, our booking agent Jeff Rude, our theme song MC Norm, check him out at Normally Retro on Twitter, and our technical assistant, video editor, and scriptwriter Ed Burns. You can support this podcast by making a small monthly donation at patreon.com/HG101. I know, I did. By subscribing to the HG101 YouTube channel, and by following at GC9X and at HG_101 on Twitter. You can also hang out with us at our Discord channel. It's at bit.ly/HG Discord, but most importantly, help us spread the love of games by getting on iTunes, subscribing to HG101, and giving us a 5-star review. Do it because you like us and you want us to succeed. Until next time, keep keeping it real.